Now, Democratic strategist Steve Laser and Republican strategist Ryan Girdusky. All right, gentlemen, thanks for being with us tonight. Ryan, I'm going to go right to you. New polls say that 7% of Americans say that they're happy with Obamacare. Who are these people?
You know, after Ted Cruz gave his speech and then Harry Reid shut down the government and blamed the Republicans, support for Obamacare went to an all-time high. And then it collapsed because it's a horrible bill and it's a horrible law. And the only way to try to defend it is for Democratic senators like Mary Landrieu to not be seen with the president and for President Obama to try to make these unconstitutional quick fixes in order to support and change his signature legislation.
All right, Steve, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, look, I mean, the part of that poll that really stuck out to me was the 43%, only 43% of the people want Obamacare repealed, so the vast majority of the American people want to give it a chance. The other thing I would say about that unconstitutionality thing is that...
but 61% of Americans disapprove of it.
Well, what parts do they disapprove of? They like the fact...
They like the fact...
No, they like the fact...
If I don't like a car, it doesn't matter if it's the back seat or the headlight.
They like the fact that young kids can stay on their parents' programs until age 26. They like the fact that pre-existing conditions are no longer excluded. When you talk about different parts of the plan, they like different parts of Obamacare. When the full exchange programs go into effect, when people get on them, they're going to like those too.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter when it comes to elections, Steve. No offense,
but it's going to matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
When they like their health insurance plans, it's going to matter.
Americans loved it when we took over Baghdad in the Iraq War, but they hated it when we were stuck in the minutia of that war for 5 years, and that's why the Republicans lost in 2006. Democrats are set on a gigantic loss in 2014.
Okay. Let's see if that's going to happen. Let's talk about the nuclear option, okay, because I want to move this along. 225 years, no one has ever used a nuclear option in the Senate. Do you think, Steve, that the Democrats are going to be sorry when the tables are turned?
That is one thing that I do worry about. But I'll tell you this. In those 225 years that you talked about, Judge, there have been about 168 filibusters of presidential nominees. Half of them have occurred in the last 5 years. You can't tell me that that's okay. You can't tell me that Harry Reid didn't have a reason to do this. I am worried about what happens when the Republicans do get back the White House and the Senate. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to go even further, and I bet you they're going to take away the filibuster for everything. But I think it was absolutely necessary here. The government could not go forward.
Oh, here's the thing. Let me tell you the reason. The reason to my viewers is the second is the D.C. Circuit, which is the judges that the President Obama was trying to put on the D.C. Circuit, and are the ones who decide his regulations and his promulgations and all that stuff. So that's why it was important. But aside from that,
why couldn't he appoint those judges?
Well, I don't know why he couldn't appoint the judges, but this is nothing new. Federal judges and appointments have been opposed by opposing parties from the beginning of time.
And the D.C. Circuit Court gets the least amount of casework. It's not like it's the Ninth Circuit Court or the Seventh Circuit Court. They get very, very little casework as a whole, the D.C. Circuit Court. So
there should have been no objections to any of his appointees.
No,
guys,
absolutely not.
We cannot get past the point that no other president has faced these kind of objections and obstructions to his appointments that President Obama has. It's unprecedented.
Gut the whole thing.
It's unprecedented, the type of obstructionism that he has experienced. It's not right.
So we should gut the whole system.
Do you think that the president has invited it? I mean,
no.
You know, I've never seen a president talk with such being so vituperative, you know, against the opposing party holding guns to the American. Who talks like that? It's beneath him.
You know, I looked at several of the appointees that have not even been brought up for an up or down vote by Republicans filibustering in the Senate. And these were folks, when you listen to Republican senators, they have no objection to some of these folks. Some of these folks were appointed to their initial bench by Republicans in the White House.
Harry Reid.
They're still filibustering them.
Harry Reid loved the nuclear option before he hated it. And as Mr. McConnell said, as Mr. McConnell said in the Senate, it's the filibuster. If you like the filibuster, he should be able to keep it too.
All right, Steve and Ryan, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Judge.